What's up, people? Let's go ahead and do some shout outs real quick before we get it popping. Lord baby Jesus, y'all know we got a show today, y'all. We got a show today because there was a heartbreaking piece of legislation that was passed last night. And the only good thing I can think that came out of it, other than the measly $600 that people were given, was the fact that the mask was once again pulled off. The great unmasking continues. This, what seems to be infinite iteration of the Warren slide, continues. All right. So let's do some shout outs before we get the show on the road. Edwin Medina, thank you very much. Niko, you're right. That's Niko number 2, guys. Not Niko number 1. Appreciate it. President Jafar, what's going on? What's going on? I am cooking. I'm in the kitchen as we speak. Nizar G, what's going on? What's going on? Edwin, and I'm glad too, man. Anna Jackson, Beverly Thomas, Eric, Mega Arbach, Irvin, Nicole, The Progressive, Cake, Mike, Jen, The Place Tobe. Man, I got some crazy names. Travis, what's going on? What's going on? Whatever, man. Rick Noe. Share this, people. Share this, please, for the love of God. Because, a lot of people don't be knowing, man. Unless you've been following the MCSC network for the last, now 2 years? A lot of people may not be knowing, but we're going to get them knowing today. So don't even stress it. Don't even stress it, y'all. Who else we got in this thing? Ruben Lopez, JT. Need to switch things on. There we go. Ooh, y'all don't even know. Y'all don't even know. It's sad. It really is. What we saw happen last night is sad because a lot of people don't even know just how bad it is yet, or how bad it's about to get. They really don't. Oh man, the progressive just reminded me. He said he rolling one up for this one. He just reminded me. I definitely forgot to smoke this morning, like for real. But it's cool though. We're still gonna handle business today. All right. Oh man, I'm in here looking crooked in a bit. Whatever, it's fine. You know what? There we go. All right, man. Y'all ready to get the show on the road? Because I'm ready to get the show on the road. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for tuning into this live stream segment of Mika Says Sukasa. And I am, of course, your humble host, Niko House, would like for you and ask of you to share this video. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you follow us on Rockfin, of course, and on Odyssey as well. And the reason I would humbly ask you to subscribe to this channel is because I know a lot of you have been getting misinformation. A lot of you have been misled. And I would dare say that the way you were misled was done intentionally. See, some of us have actually been saying that we have to hold AOC and the members of the squad accountable, not only those, but the ones who claim to be progressive. And we've been screaming this from the top of our lungs from 2019. And at that point, it wasn't because we didn't like them, despite what people might have thought. It wasn't that. What it was is we understand that only pressure bursts pipes. You're not going to rub the goddamn pipe down with some lubricating jelly and then expect the wire to bust everywhere. It's not how it works. Only pressure bust pipes, and that is especially true when we're talking about politicians. Now, a lot of people, for some reason, are under this impression that this channel doesn't hold politicians accountable, and although, admittedly enough, we have our favorites, like everybody, we hold everybody accountable. For example, my entire relationship or campaign relationship with Tulsi was predicated on the fact that I did a 20-minute video criticizing her Syria position at the time. Yeah. Fiorella was attacked all the time for holding Bernie accountable. And she was a Bernie, like she endorsed Bernie, was on the ground working for Bernie, went to Iowa to campaign for Bernie, walked all up and down California, not only on camera, not only doing election integrity work, but canvassing for Bernie as well. And we have been saying how important it is to hold people accountable, not because you don't like them, but because otherwise they're not incentivized to do the right thing. And sometimes they're just not informed enough. They're just not informed enough, or the establishment is putting more pressure on them than their own constituency and supporters. And so if they can get their supporters to keep funding their campaigns and funding their movements while simultaneously capitulating to the establishment, most of these people will do it. Now, why do I bring this stuff up? Smash Dragon, thank you for the super chat. We're gonna go over that in a second. Now, why would I bring this up? Now, everybody knows that this corporate bailout, or this COVID bill, COVID stimulus relief, is a corporate bailout. Everybody know this. A lot of people choose to ignore it. Why? Who knows? But what was in this bill was absolutely horrific. Let's just look at some of the stuff. I want to give a shout out to Shauna. We're gonna actually put her Twitter up right now. I want to give a shout out to Shauna, because Shauna did a fantastic job organizing a thread for us to just look at some of the stuff in the bill, just some of the stuff. So she has a thread. In case you want to go follow her, it's at Shauna_Burley. I strongly suggest you go do so. Now, we've been granted $600, and then she goes on the show. There was 5,593 pages of this COVID relief bill that includes only 600 for the United States citizens, of course, and then $2 billion in foreign aid to Egypt and Sudan. But wait, there's more. Okay, 135 million to Burma, 85.5 million to Cambodia, 1.5 billion for the Asia Reassurance Initiative, 130 million to Nepal. I wonder if this had anything to do with China. It probably had something to do with China. 453 million to the Ukraine. I wonder if that had anything to do with the fact that their oligarchy helped stop Joe Biden and Hunter Biden from being investigated by President Zelensky and the prosecution there. Interesting. Let's continue. The same bill provides 1.3 billion to the Egyptian military, but 600 for us, right? 1.3 billion to foreign military financing 2 weeks after writing the defense spending bill. In other words, they just gave the military more money after already having written the NDAA. So they're shoring up all military relations and financing for the Biden administration. Yeah, that's what they're doing. Oh, but it get better. Naturally, it's from Michael Tracy. The COVID omnibus bill sneaks in the condemnation of the August 2020 election in Belarus, not just as fraudulent, but as an attempt to reconstitute the totalitarian Soviet Union. You know, you got to throw that Russiagate in there, or else it ain't real. It ain't a real bill if you don't throw Russiagate in there. The COVID relief bill also includes 10 million for gender programs in Pakistan. I need y'all to understand something. If it's a gender program in Pakistan, if you know what Pakistan, their rule of law is very similar to Saudi Arabia. In other words, it's not a good thing. It's not what you think it is. Yeah, it gets better. The stimulus proposed 700 million to Sudan, 500 million to Israel, 2 billion to the Space Force, 4 billion to the Navy, 2 billion to the Air Force, 177 million to the Israeli ballistic missile program. I mean, motherfucker, do I need to say more? The fact that anyone voted for this piece of garbage, anyone, go check it out. It's here. It's all right here. Go follow Shauna. Shauna_Burley. She's doing a fantastic job compiling all of this stuff. Look at this. 1.375 billion for a border wall. Are you kidding? Come on, y'all. Come on, bro. Now, if this bill wasn't disgusting in and of itself, the fact that it was over 5,000 pages that was introduced 2 hours before it was voted on in the House, or at least printed out to be read 2 hours before it was voted on in the House, is not only disgusting, but it was never discussed that they didn't have the bill to begin with. No, matter of fact, I'm wrong. You know what? You know, the only person who brought up the fact that there was a bill that needed to be discussed and never actually got discussed. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. No, I don't have it with me. Justin Amash. It was Justin Amash. He was the only one that morning. Actually, let me see if I got it over here. I might even have it over here. Because I got to give Justin Amash his damn props. He was out here snitching for the cause. Snitching. Oh, yeah, I got it right here. So we're going to pull this up. I got to give Amash his credit. Y'all go follow him. He actually introduced some great immigration legislation as well. This is from Justin Amash. You see this new breaking news, New York Times. Congress agreed on a stimulus deal that would give $600 checks to Americans and provide funds to small businesses and vaccine distribution. Oh, that's the part that they didn't talk about. There are $32 billion dedicated to vaccine distribution. $32 billion to give out a vaccine, bro. $32 billion. Who do you think that's going to? Maybe Pfizer and Moderna's leadership that sold their stocks right before the vaccine released because they probably knew there were going to be some issues since you spent 6 months making it. It take longer to cook crack than make that damn vaccine. Man, that's neither here nor there. This is what Justin Amash said to that. Quote unquote, Congress agreed. We haven't seen the text. We sent a senator. We haven't seen the text. Justin Amash, who works in Congress. Now, he said that at 9:18 p.m. on December 20th, ladies and gentlemen. It is the 22nd. Yesterday was the 21st. So you're telling me Congress knew they hadn't seen the text, and AOC was blah, 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 all over Twitter the next day, yesterday specifically, at like 4 in the afternoon. Why haven't we seen the text yet? Hold up. How are you talking about it's the Republicans' fault that we're da-da-da-da, it's the Republican, da-da-da, it's Mitch McConnell, da-da-da, but you ain't even seen the text yet, so you couldn't have possibly known who introduced what amendment, where they put it at, and how those amendments got there. So you telling me AOC been lying and gaslighting this entire time? She had no idea what should be attributed to the Republicans and what should be attributed to the Democrats because she literally hadn't seen the text, so she was playing y'all the entire time? What a surprise. Couldn't believe that. I can't believe that, y'all. Justin Amash was on it. Chavi no $2 billion to the fucking Space Force. WTF. I know. Thank you for the super chat. Pop reality. Even Kyle has now said AOC is honest disagreements. Ain't no damn honest disagreement. Y'all know I love Kyle, but that's bullshit. That's bullshit. At this point, black people need 75% segregation. I don't feel we can trust liberals. I don't know about 75% segregation, but we need the same opportunities that have been afforded to everybody else. Also equal and relative to the amount of suppression and oppression that we have seen. There's nobody else in this country that has experienced the Black Wall Street scenario. That's a whole different discussion for a whole different day. But I don't want to distract from this particular issue because it gets better, ladies and gentlemen. So I pull up. Oh, where'd she go? Oh, no. Where we at? So we're going to go to AOC's Twitter. Okay. And we're going to also go to AOC's Twitter. Okay. Is that cool with y'all? So we're going to go. Let's look at what the first AOC is saying. Let's see what she's saying. is the first AOC. This is why Congress needs time to actually read this package before voting on it. Am I doing a good job imitating her? Okay, let's continue. Members of Congress have not read this bill, okay? It's over 5,000 pages, arrived at 2 p.m. today, and we are told to expect to vote on it in 2 hours. This isn't governance, this is hostage taking. And by the way, it isn't just members of Congress who need to read this. You do. The public needs to see these bills without enough time to contact their rep to let them know how they feel. Members are reeling right now because they don't have time to consult with their communities. Oh my God. I can't believe they're doing this to us. Why would Nancy Pelosi do this to us, y'all? I'm ad-libbing at that point. But you get the drift, right? You get the drift. I gotta see my face on this one because we about to, I need y'all to see my hand motions too, because you can't imitate AOC without her ridiculously, like, her erratic hand motions. So we gonna go, what does the other AOC say? Because for all intents and purposes, based off of what I just read to you, you would think that actually meant there is no way in hell you would vote for a 5,000 page bill only giving Americans $600 without reading it. Because you gotta wonder at some point, what the hell is in the rest of the bill, right? That's what one would think based off of what AOC said. But this is the other AOC. This is AOC the rep. So maybe Rep AOC got something different to say. Here's what we know about the COVID relief package so far. $300 a week in federal unemployment for 11 weeks. This on top of what you already received from the state. $25 billion in rental assistance. The deal also keeps in place an eviction moratorium for some renters. Yeah, because that moratorium has been working out so well. Y'all haven't even held the people accountable or put funds in place to help people who have been illegally evicted as we speak, because Trump already put a moratorium and y'all have been ignoring it, despite the fact that people have been getting put into the fucking cold in your goddamn city. Your city. A democratically ran city. You gonna blame Trump for that shit too? Okay, let's continue. $600 survival checks. Motherfucker, are we in Survivor where all you get is $600 and a kiss on the cheek and a mask and say, go into the world, survive the pandemic, good luck? Because that's basically what you're suggesting. A survivor's check? Yeah, that's barely all you're going to be able to do on that check. So maybe that's why maybe it should say Survivor TM in the corner for trademark. I don't know, maybe. It says for all documented residents earning up to $75,000. Those earning $75,000 to $99,000 will receive less, and those earning over $99,000 will get nothing. For families, $600 is allocated per adult and child, so a family of 4 could get up to $2,400 depending on their income. Now, does anybody see a problem with this? Anybody who lives in the real world knows that this is middle class. This is what she just described. Excuse me, let me go back. This is middle class to upper middle class. If you're living in California and you're not making this much and you own a home, no, you don't own a home if you're not making at least that much. I'm talking about both people, not just the husband, not just the wife, not just the husband and the husband, not just the wife and the wife, not just the damn husband, the kid, or the damn, like everybody in your household that is paying bills needs to be making as much as what she just described, not only in California, but once again, in her own district. That is the upper middle to middle class. Ladies and gentlemen, they are telling you you are shit out of luck if you filed tax returns and you have now been put on unemployment because they don't have new tax returns yet, do they? They are gutting the middle class. And they're cheering for this bitch, this duplicitous bitch. She's a snake. She is literally cheering for the legislation on one account and talking shit about the legislation in another account. Cheering for the legislation in one account, talking shit about the legislation in another account. Once again, cheering for the legislation in one account, talking shit in the other account. What the hell would you call that, ladies and gentlemen? What would, If that's not duplicitous, what is that? If that's not disingenuous and dishonest, what? She spent hours gaslighting us. Hours, bro. Hours. On one of her accounts. And now, on the other account, she's going to tell us, oh, no. Actually, I want to talk about all the good stuff. Like, listen, y'all, let's go down the thread real quick to see how much did she talk about the real paycheck protection program. Yeah, I guess. No, nothing about nothing. Now, think about her thread compared to Shauna's thread. 1.3 to a border wall. Candy gets another 14 million. 3 million for Hong Kong rioters. 177 million for COVID for Israeli ballistic. Isn't that crazy? Even Walker Brogdon up 2 billion for effort. Isn't this look a little bit different than AOC's thread? But AOC's thread manages to leave all of those facts out. Do you think that AOC might have left all that shit out on purpose? And do you think that she might have left all that out on purpose because she voted for it? Because that's probably why she left it out. And if you want to know how I knows, let's go ahead and shows you. Okay. Now I know it's a little bit difficult to read, ladies and gentlemen. I get it. It's but that's I'm gonna tell you how you know. I got you. Don't even stress you. Don't even stress. I got you. So let me get my ugly ass face out the way. You see a bunch of blue at the top, right? The bunch of blue at the top. Bunch of blue. Okay. At the very bottom, you see like a bunch of red and 2 blues, right? Just 2. Those 2 blues are Representative Tulsi Gabbard and Representative Rashida Tlaib. Not only the only Democrats to vote against this piece of shit legislation, but the only progressives to do so in the House or the Senate. That's right. Your boy Bernie voted for a piece of legislation that he didn't even read, because the Senate basically, because he's part of the leadership in the Senate, in case you didn't know. The Senate vote, they supported this and agreed on this almost unanimously before it got sent to the House to be initially voted on. Bernie even said on camera he's going to vote for the bill even if it didn't include the unemployment provisions. In other words, Bernie agreed to vote on a piece of legislation before he had even seen it. And I've been telling y'all for years, Bernie doesn't know what's in his own legislation. He doesn't read it. I've been telling y'all since Medicare for All that his version of Medicare for All was different than Pramila Jayapal's in the House, because Pramila Jayapal in the House didn't work with Amy Klobuchar and Kirsten Gillibrand to craft her Medicare for All legislation. And I was attacked for it. I've been telling y'all, Bernie don't read shit. Shout out to Pramila Jayapal and shout out to Tulsi Gabbard. And I'm going to tell y'all something. For everybody who swears, oh yeah, people will pretend like they held Bernie accountable when it's some super generic, oh yeah, of course. Like, let's it's like not necessarily something serious. It is something serious, but like, it's obvious. It's nothing that he did that like that diverged from the rest of like the squad, for example. And it's something that will be probably forgotten about as Bernie disappears after his career, right? Something you can't really hold him accountable for or take personally. Now, they'll never hold him accountable for the stuff that he said about Venezuela, the MIT talking points he uses on Syria, the way he criticizes socialism in South America but loves socialism in Scandinavia, the way he threw Breonna Joy Grant under the bus, the way he threw Tulsi Gabbard under the bus, the way he ingratiated himself with a literal rapist, sex pest segregationist, and then pretended as if Trump was the only one that was running. Like that, oh, no, he's a racist. Well, what about the guy that your good friend Joe Biden? I've been telling people about this. And I said they'll never hold him accountable in any serious way. Now, for those of you who are curious, we do hold our politicians accountable on this side. As everybody knows, I was a surrogate, at least. Okay, we're still good. Okay. Everybody at this point knows I was a surrogate for Tulsi Gabbard. Y'all know this. And this is what I had to say. And I was the only surrogate, by the way, that was allowed to criticize my candidate, in case you didn't know. So I said, please do not vote for this gutter trash of a bill, Tulsi. Expose these corporate cronies for trying to give us crumbs while giving corporations in the military industrial complex billions. We know the Dems will pass it anyway, but please use this as an opportunity to pull the mask off of Congress. Tulsi, being one of the only two people to vote against this bill from the Democrats, said, 600 is a slap in the face to every American struggling to get by during the pandemic. You deserve better. I voted against this 5,593-page spending bill that gave billions to corporate interests and the military-industrial complex in other countries, leaving crumbs for you who need it the most. Now, I want y'all to, once again, expose the corporate cronies for trying to give us crumbs while giving corporations and the military-industrial complex billions. And Tulsi then said, I voted against this spending bill that gave billions to corporations and the military-industrial complex, leaving crumbs for you who need the most. So you're going to try to tell me that there was any point in history that AOC was ever more honest, more objective than this person who directly responds to a surrogate, doesn't take it personal, doesn't consider it an attack, but is listening from her heart, and also probably listen to the fact that there's a bill on the floor that she never even got a chance to read. There's also that, just common sense shit. Rashida Tlaib said something very similar. But the reason I pointed this out is because, as you can see, it's almost exactly what I said to her. Tagged her openly on Twitter. Everybody knows I could just have DM'd her. I could have texted her, whatever. But it was important for her to know, friendship aside, as a politician, you need to know how we are being treated, how our money is being spent, and how all of that will be seen as you vote for this on your way out. I don't know what she would have voted for. Maybe she would have voted no anyway. Who knows? Probably. She usually gets it right for these things. She wasn't there for the CARES Act, so we'll never know about that. But I guess judging off of this, we probably do know. Now, the same one who complained about not being able to read the bill, who complains about the military-industrial complex and corporate cronyism, the same one voted in the way you would expect her to. Now, that other one, AOC, she decided that she was going to vote she was going to vote one way, and then she was going to vote talk in the complete opposite way on her Twitter account, while talking a whole different way on her other Twitter account. And then, of course, never even giving an explanation as to why she voted in any way. So this is what we are dealing with, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we're dealing with. Once again, I want to pull this up for y'all. I don't know if you can see it. I want you to just look at this list. Massey voted against it. Just take a second, look at this list. I'll be back in like 20 seconds. You see those names, y'all? A lot of blue. Whole lot of squad up in there, huh? Whole lot of Justice Democrats up in there. Y'all know one of y'all is Justice Democrats, Ilhan Omar, actually just got a leadership position again. She's the whip. She's the whip. Did y'all know that? I know a lot of people didn't know that. You think that potentially her playing the game is what got her this job? Potentially. I would think so. Do you think that her refusal to fight for us is potentially what got her this job? Her refusal, I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, given Rashida Tlaib's relationship with Palestine, that the $2 billion to Israel was enough, right? Probably the $2 billion to Israel was probably enough. I'm just like, wow. Listen, y'all. Let me get some of these super chats. This is so many people spent so much time attacking Tulsi over the last 2 to 3 days, knowing this bill was coming up. Nobody had shit to say to AOC. Nobody challenged her. None of all these people who love her so much decided to challenge her on this piece of shit. Hold on, my super chat just disappeared on me. Okay, I see one from Keith Simon. Thank you very much for the super chat. I feel like that 600 was meant to, oh wow, hold up. There you go. I feel like that 600 was meant to distract from the other evil things stuffed in that bill, like criminalizing sharing memes. Yeah, of course. Bro, you know they got like a Twitch amendment in there that basically, if they feel like your content is pirated at all, it's a felony. So it's basically going to shut Twitch. It might even shut Twitch down. And like, to be fair, I think that even though I would agree that Twitch is like mostly a bunch of, you know, neo-progressives, circle jerking and jerking the circle, there is always that potential for people to eventually break through on Twitch. And Twitch doesn't pay like YouTube does until you get to a certain point. Like it's a much higher criteria. It's much more difficult. And even for Facebook, it's harder to be monetized on Twitch than it is on Facebook. And obviously, they don't have the suppression seemingly like YouTube and Facebook does. And also, YouTube and Facebook are largely in the pockets of the federal government. Twitch is like its own little thing. And now you will probably see limited opportunity for people like to actually break through on Twitch, because they don't want that. So there's a bunch. The 600 was meant to give us enough crumbs to keep corporations afloat during the holidays, because, you know, this is one of their most prominent. So you get to buy your little Amazon Prime gifts. You get to go out to dinner with your family. And hell, some of you might even be able to get UBI. Or excuse me, not UBI, but unemployment. Not everybody, I know that. But a lot of people's unemployment insurance have run out. A lot of people live in states where they don't want Trump to look like he's doing a good job, so they just have been BSing on unemployment. I know people in California have dealt with that. The fact that only Tulsi Gabbard and Rashida Tlaib, who I've had my problems with in the past, but like, what? Oh, like, for her to diverge from the squad, now I kind of understand why she sounded so frustrated whenever they interviewed her about forced to vote. I do. Because to be real, I believe that Rashida Tlaib is under much more pressure from the establishment than AOC is. Only in the sense of they're more fearful that AOC or that Rashida Tlaib will detract from the mainstream narrative. And it seems to be that was the case. Now, here's a chance for us to actually revisit the CARES Act. Now, a lot of people, for some reason, are under this impression that AOC voted against it. Oh, they're under this impression that AOC voted against because she's a fucking liar. That's why. She's a liar. So we're going to check out the CARES Act vote. So I want y'all to listen. So I got to explain this. There are two situations happening here. The CARES Act was already a bill that got amended. Okay, it was a motion to amend that happened because it got passed in the House in 2019, around July. Got sent to the Senate. The Senate sat on it. Mitch McConnell then flipped that bill and amended it, completely ripping out the original piece of legislation, which was a healthcare bill. People, it was healthcare. What it was. It was to alleviate some of the costs and problems within the ACA. It passed overwhelmingly by Democrats and Republicans in the House with a bunch of co-sponsors. It got sent to the Senate. Senate sat on it, and then they passed that motion to flip it into the CARES Act and sent it back to the House. Now, because there were so many co-sponsors on this piece of legislation, they were able to fast track it through. And if you all remember, AOC was waving her hands in the air. Oh my God, is this so bad? And then she claimed in one scenario that she voted against it when she got an interview the very next day. Then her office said, I wouldn't have supported it given what was in it. I want you all to listen to something for me. What you're going to hear is the voice vote, the initial voice vote to accept the motion. Accepting the motion means you accept that motion to amend the original piece of legislation. And then you're going to hear Thomas Massie challenge this, okay? Because I want to make sure I'm not crazy. And we're going to turn this video up. I don't want nobody. I know some of y'all got some Androids up in this thing. And I know Androids and all that. So we're going to make sure y'all can hear this, okay?
All time for debate has expired. Pursuant to House Resolution 911, the previous question is ordered on the motion. The question is on adoption of the motion. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. No. The ayes have it.
Mr. Speaker.
For what purposes, gentlemen, seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I came here to make sure our republic doesn't die by unanimous consent in an empty chamber, and I request a recorded vote.
A recorded vote is requested. Those favoring a recorded vote will rise and remain standing until counted. An insufficient number having risen, a recorded vote is refused.
Mr. Speaker.
Is the gentleman recognized?
I object on the basis that a quorum is not present and make a point of order that a quorum is not present.
The chair will count for a quorum. Counted for a quorum is present. The motion is adopted. Without objection, a motion to reconsider is laid upon the table.
Okay. So am I crazy?
Pursuant to Section 7B of...
Am I crazy? So I told y'all we heard three different things. Three different things. The initial voice vote to accept the motion, which they said aye, right? All the people said aye. You hear nay? Maybe two guys, two gentlemen. Now this is AOC. A lot of people know AOC, when she wants to be the loudest and when she wants everybody to know that she's against something, Lord knows she will be the loudest in the room, has had zero problem with being that loud in the past. But all of a sudden, AOC either didn't want anybody to know she was a nay or didn't vote nay. She probably voted aye. But once again, we're just going to go back and going to listen to just the voice vote part, okay? Because I don't want people to think that we're being dishonest and disingenuous. Okay, let's go ahead and play that again.
All time for debate has expired. Pursuant to House Resolution 911, the previous question is ordered on the motion. The question is on adoption of the motion. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. No. The ayes have it.
Mr.
So am I missing something? So I'm not the crazy one, right? Okay. So she lied. Now, if you want further proof or evidence that she, at least, if you don't even want to call her a liar, let's just say once again, at the very least, she was being dishonest, disingenuous, and duplicitous. Why do I say that? Well, let's just go ahead and look at this whole forced vote thing. One of the reasons that AOC says we don't have to actually do this and pressure Nancy Pelosi into voting for Medicare for all is because we already somewhat, in a way, have people on the record. What is her idea of a record? Co-sponsorship. Never mind the fact that like Kamala, Elizabeth Warren, and Cory Booker and all these types of people tried to co-sponsor during the primary because they knew if they didn't co-sponsor, they could not possibly have any chance in hell to win this election, right? And then, of course, they promptly remove themselves. Let's ignore all that part. But a co-sponsorship is not a vote. But by AOC's logic, ladies and gentlemen, AOC did co-sponsor the CARES Act, although when she did co-sponsor in 2019, it was a different piece of legislation. Now, that doesn't mean she can't take her name off of it, just as Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, and other senators. They had no problem removing their names off of the Medicare for All co-sponsorship in the Senate. AOC could have removed her name once she realized that this legislation was gutter trash. She was one of the few members, because not everybody was there. A lot of people, you can see that in the room, right? Remember, Tulsi couldn't vote on this because she was being held back for COVID. I think Amy Klobuchar was stuck in Minnesota over COVID. Like, a lot of people weren't there, which is why they did this. And they tried to actually do a roll call vote online because they wanted accountability, and also those senators and representatives wanted to be a part of this vote. AOC we don't know what her vote was for that, but we do know Thomas Massie just tried to call a roll call vote. AOC didn't say anything. We also know that AOC, like I just said, had a chance to formally remove her name from that piece of legislation. Formally, so everybody knew this is bad. This is ugly. It's so bad, I cannot have my name on this. She could have removed it. She made a conscious political choice not to remove her name from the CARES Act. So that now we have to go through this whole conversation of her muddying the water, saying, no, I voted against it. For sure. Yeah, I definitely did. But by her own logic, we have her name on the record. And there is no context here. There are some people whose names will remain as co-sponsors on the CARES Act because they literally weren't in Congress to take their name off of it by the time they realized it had been flipped into that their legislation that they originally co-sponsored had been flipped into an amendment which became the CARES Act. They were literally not in Washington. That cannot be said for AOC. AOC was in Washington. She knew the CARES Act was going to be introduced. She knew the Senate just put the amendment out to flip it. It had been accepted. It had been sent back down to the House, and she could have taken her name off. She chose not to. She could have yelled from the rooftops, nay. When they asked her to accept that motion, she chose not to. Then she went on to different shows. I think Democracy Now! Was one of them. And she told The Intercept that, actually, I voted for it. Or voted against it, I was against this. I couldn't support this. And then she actually went on her IG live. I'm doing a separate video about that tomorrow, by the way. I'm gonna love that one. Me and Mr. Hassan Park gonna have a little conversation. But she went on her IG live with that former U.S. Women's World Cup champion, the one with the short hair, and was bragging about the fact that we passed it. Talking about her. And then people are more mad at Jimmy Dore for fighting for Medicare for all. This is who y'all are defending. This is who y'all are defending. This is who y'all are simping for. Hell, If I was going to be uncritical of Tulsi, which once again has literally never been true, at least I was a surrogate. At least I was actually like grew to be friends with her as a person. Y'all simping for AOC and y'all don't even know her. With all the facts presented to you, you still ignore them. It's almost as if they are purposely ignoring the facts because they are reliant on AOC's brand. And Lord knows, the progressive movement, the progressive independent media space, at least them on their side, they can't survive without a brand because then they might have to actually dig into policy. Whoa, they don't like that. I know they don't like no policy up in here. They're going to have to go through bills. They're going to have to get on the ground. They're going to have to get from behind their desks. They're going to have to be honest, objective, and critical of everyone and everything in politics as they should be. Give credit where credit is due. You know, this thing called nuance. With AOC's firebrand, you don't have to be nuanced. And or at least back then. And what Jimmy Dore exposed is that they're going to defend AOC no matter what. And if you notice in the same breath, as you've seen these AOC defenses, they're criticizing Tulsi no matter what. Don't you think that that's a little bit curious? It's not about Tulsi. It's not about Rashida Tlaib. It is partially about this bill, partially about the CARES Act, partially about the fact that AOC and other progressives backed off of the Off Fossil Fuels Act, even though that was the most progressive climate change legislation in the history of the world. And a lot of people didn't even know it existed, even though every squad member and almost every Justice Democrat and almost everybody in our revolution who ran for Congress in 2018, they all ran on Tulsi Gabbard's Off Act. Did y'all know that? A lot of people don't. Go read my article, AOC is Not Your Friend. It's on the independent.io/MCSC network. Go ahead, read it. I got all the receipts in there. Everything you could possibly want. I got to update it now, though, right? I do need to update it. It's all there. Why do you think AOC never stands up for Nina? Why do you think AOC hasn't endorsed Nina? Ooh, nobody's mentioned that fact, huh? Even Bernie came out and endorsed Nina immediately. Tulsi came out and endorsed Nina immediately. Cori Bush, who's not a squad member, but just got into Congress, came out and endorsed Nina immediately. Interesting. But AOC has been mum. But I thought the Bernie camp was a firm unit. But let them still convince y'all that they're against forced to vote because it's not feasible. It has nothing to do with the personality of Jimmy or the ambitions of those who attacked Jimmy. It has nothing to do with protecting the ambitions of AOC. Nothing to do with the fact that they're trying to protect the ambitions of the neo-progressive community. It's nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with the fact that people like TYT have corporate donors that they have to appease. I wish it just stopped at Katzenberg, but it doesn't. Let them pretend it has nothing to do with the fact that they're trying to protect themselves. Because for anyone trying to pretend that this vote for this piece of shit legislation is anything but abominable and insulting, they're disingenuous. And they're saying this because they need to protect themselves. They're fence sitting. They are. I want to see real quick if I can pull up as long as my computer don't go crazy on me. I want to pull up a video that I just took. Bruh, almost had me in tears. Almost had me in fucking tears, y'all. I see a line on the street of my house, and in my head, it's Miami, right? So like, Okay, it's a line. The Christmas tree just got put up. So it's probably nothing. You know, it's probably just some more Miami hype beast stuff. Okay. Let me show y'all what it was. Y'all see this? Do y'all know what this is? Y'all can't hear this, but y'all know what this is? That's a food drive. That's a line to go get food. They just gave billions to different countries, the military industrial complex, to the pharmaceutical industry. Overwhelmingly. Almost every progressive congressperson, almost every member of the Progressive Caucus voted to do this. And the day after, we see people waiting in line for food. Damn, getting Christmas presents. It's December 22nd and people waiting in line for food, and y'all gonna give people $600 and tell them that's the best we could do? That's what you got? And what's worse is that people like AOC, even people like Bernie, being performative, like y'all have done something. Oh man, we really fought hard for this $600. And you knew you never read the legislation. You knew you had never seen shit on that piece of legislation. They had to cart the bill in. And if it wasn't for Justin Amash, I doubt that we would have never seen it. I doubt we would have ever seen that shit. Because Justin Amash had to say something the day before. And then it started like, oh, hold up. What? Hold up. How y'all vote? Oh, just kidding. Yes, no, that's not true. Our machine's broken. Our printer's broken. The day after we're told to accept this shit, and they're giving billions, bro, billions to not just corporations, but the military industrial complex. That's what they're giving this. That's what this bill was for. I've been trying to tell y'all it was coming. And I said, don't accept anyone voting for this. I've been trying to warn people. I'm like, the fact that AOC keeps gaslighting and pretending it's Mitch McConnell's bill when Joe Manchin was taking the lead on this. Anybody who had watched the damn news channel saw this. That Nancy Pelosi was involved in taking a lead on this. That she was just there to pretend as if it was Mitch McConnell's idea. But it was always both of theirs. And for AOC to sit there and pretend as if it was all Mitch McConnell, I said, oh no, this is about to be bad. Because she's gaslighting more than usual. More than usual. And that's saying a lot for AOC. And lo and behold, we come and find out, not only could you have not possibly known which part was Mitch McConnell's part, which part, because like they just hadn't released anything yet. It wasn't on the website. There was no sponsorship list. There was no co-sponsor list. There was no amendment list where everybody, you know how they record everything onto the Congressional website so you can see step by step what took place? The website was down, so nothing could be recorded, which means AOC is a liar. She had no idea who was responsible for what. In addition to that, she literally never read it, and she had known that she had never read it, and she still was trying to pretend as if we should be looking at Republicans the entire time instead of demanding, like I did of the candidate that I fucking worked for. I don't know what those Bernie people were doing besides making excuses for him. Y'all saw my tweet. I tagged the candidate that I supported, that I endorsed, that I campaigned for, that I was a surrogate for. This is unacceptable. Don't vote for this. Because I wanted her to see the responses, the reactions, the profound nature of betrayal the people who supported her and progressives in Congress would feel. Who else did that? Please tell me. Please tell me Because if I'm a toll cell, I'll be that. That's fine. Because I'll show you. What, do you want to see it again for those of you who ain't see it? Okay, that's fine. We're going to bring it up. Y'all know me. Y'all know the MCSC network. We receipt gang around here. Okay? Once again, this is my tweet. Please do not vote for this gutter trash of a bill, Tulsi. Expose these corporate cronies for trying to give us crumbs while giving corporations in the military industrial complex billions. Once again, this is Tulsi's bill, or Tulsi's response, excuse me. I voted against this 539-page spending bill. I'm giving you the short version. That gave billions to corporate. That gave billions to corporate interests in the military industrial complex. Okay? What did I say? Expose these corporate cronies for trying to give crumbs while giving corporation in the military industrial complex billions. I voted against this spending bill that gave billions to corporate interests in the military industrial complex. But who don't hold their candidates accountable? In fact, I know that my team has held candidates that they support, not only just Tulsi, it's all over. This is a thing. This is a regular thing. Y'all have no idea how many candidates, politicians, people we talk to. Y'all have no idea. We regularly hold our candidates and friends accountable. Damn, just candidates. We hold our friends. We hold each other accountable. I would love to see any Bernie Sanders surrogate to challenge where he stood on this vote. Never in y'all goddamn life could you ever try to pretend as if we don't believe in accountability around here. And not only, because the reason we believe in it is because of what you just saw. What I just showed you is that she literally made sure that everybody knew, I hear you. She used almost the exact same rhetoric to let everybody know, I hear you. I hear your needs. This is an insult. Where have you seen Cenk and them challenge AOC on this issue? Where you see Anna at? Anna and Emma got us all blocked now, so we can't see nothing. I mean, I could, but I already know. I already know. They're already defending her. I don't have to go look. Y'all voting for her in 2024? She won't even fight for Medicare for all in the middle of a pandemic. She voted for a bill giving billions to the military industrial complex while simultaneously allowing the Democrats to tell us they couldn't do more. Mitch McConnell made it very clear where he stood for us. The fact that there was even $600 passed the way Mitch McConnell was talking is honestly amazing. We knew where Mitch McConnell stood. We know he's a piece of shit. But AOC was pretending as if, not just AOC, by the way, AOC, Bernie Sanders, Ilhan Omar, almost every single Democrat around the country, except for very few, were pretending as if the Republicans were the one trying to give us the shaft. And then, of course, yesterday the floor speech from Nancy Pelosi came out. Actually, 600 is great. It's great for you guys. It's great. Really important for America. Yeah. But for 2 years, they actually tried to convince y'all that we were the frauds. That we were the ones that didn't hold our candidates accountable. Or hold candidates accountable in general, which is hilarious. Show me one 20-minute video of TYT, Sam Cedar, Dave Packman, any of these fucking lame ass white people that just swear to God they are all about our issues, but constantly throwing all of us under the bus, especially minorities who know what they're talking about when it comes to politics. Oh, they love throwing us under the bus. Show me the 20-minute video of them criticizing Bernie Sanders on one of the most controversial issues of the last few years. Because I can show you the 20-minute video of me criticizing Tulsi. That was before I became her surrogate, by the way. And that video is one of the reasons that she talked to me and reached out to me to hear my opinion on that issue. Please show me their video criticizing Bernie for 20 minutes. If she won't, not just AOC, Bernie too. Notice Bernie hadn't said nothing about forced to vote. And it's interesting that I haven't even seen really an interview from Bernie on forced to vote. I see interviews. I've seen a video of him getting the vaccine. I've seen videos of him caping for the Democrats, saying he's going to push this piece of legislation, pretending as if he added anything to this. Shut the fuck. Bernie, I don't let you do nothing. You've been neutered, bro. You've been neutered. Stop pretending otherwise. You've been neutered. I wish that he would just gracefully bow out, because you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain. And he is really on that road to living long enough to see himself become a villain. People don't remember 1986, Bernie. They remember 2020. Why? Because this is the year they're about to be on their ass in the cold in the middle of winter after they voted for the racist sex pest that you told them to vote for. Look what they got for it. These people, not knowing any better, did everything y'all asked them to do this election, and this is what they got for it. And they swear Jimmy's plan. Jimmy don't got a plan. He don't have a plan. Jimmy don't know politics. Jimmy don't got a plan. Why don't y'all organize? Why don't you? Hold up. What's your plan again? What have you organized again? Out of curiosity, because Jimmy seemingly organized probably by the way, in case you didn't know, I'm going on his Jackson show tomorrow to discuss this. 2nd through the 4th is the forced to vote sit-in. Yeah, something already organized. It trended a week ago. Now it's already organized. It's an event. Yes, in DC. And the Action for Assange event is also around the same time, 3rd and the 4th. So you can do both. You can go protect Assange and free speech. You could also go force the vote for Medicare for all. The two most existential crises of our nation right now. Free speech and healthcare. What organizing has TYT done again? Other than organizing to raise money for the network and then spending it in God knows whatever way. Remember when they tried to literally raise money for a climate change debate and they raised like $300,000 or $400,000 and nobody knows where it went, because there was, if any candidate participated in a sanctioned climate or unsanctioned climate change debate, they would be removed from all debates going forward. And TYT knew that. They still took their people's money anyway. Took those people's money anyway. That's what they organized for. Once again, you know what my team organizes for? I started the largest Bernie Sanders organization in the country in 2016. I started the DNC for a lawsuit with Jared and Elizabeth Lee Beck. Fiorella is the reason that Bernie was saved in Iowa. She not only was the first one to catch the coin flips as they were happening and reported on it, she also called out the fact that somebody in Bernie's campaign messed up, and there were multiple precincts in the most important areas of Iowa that had 0 precinct captains. Fiorella called it out. She blew the whistle on it. And that got taken care of by one of the campaign chairs, so that they were able to catch everything that we caught in Iowa. Pasta and Johnny chased mail-in ballots all up and down California to verify the chain of custody. I was on bit. Go ahead, Google my Lee Camp interview. Go ahead, Google my Lee Camp interview on Redacted Tonight, where I broke the video of them cheating Tim Canova in real time. They were taking ballots because I was on the ground. Because Tim asked for help. He asked for help, and as an activist, because Tim is an activist first, you damn right I was there. And we caught them. And I was on Redacted Tonight because I was on the ground. And 3 election supervisors in Florida, including Brenda Snipes, who got caught destroying 10,000 ballots in Tim Canova's previous race. 3 of them were fired from information that started through us, that eventually Marco Rubio retweeted, And then it caught fire and the entire country was paying attention. That's what the fuck my team does. That's how we organize. Jimmy trended #1 on Twitter, using his 800,000 subscriber platform to bring attention to the most, which you would think would be the most important issue in the country right now, considering how much they're gaslighting us about how dangerous this virus is. If saving lives is the issue, why is there a debate about what Jimmy is doing? So I'm confused. So the activists are who you should ignore. The organizers are who you should ignore. The election integrity activists are who you should ignore. The ones who have worked for multiple candidates, who have advised multiple candidates, that have helped debate prep multiple candidates, that started our show not from corporate funding, but from my fucking car, with my iPhone, with a pair of headphones. And now we have a network that has more political influence than anybody will ever know unless you know. From nothing. Not from Jeffrey Katzenberg, not from MSNBC, because that's basically all TYT is a bunch of fucking mainstream media rejects that all got together and circle jerked around a bunch of goddamn corporate donors, and that's how they got where they're at. In case y'all thought they were actually grassroots. They've always had vulture capitalist funding. But Jimmy, literally, if y'all don't know, yeah, Jimmy was on TYT, but nobody knew Jimmy. Jimmy grew his following on his own channel from nothing. From nothing. The most hated person on TYT. Everybody remembers. And then what happened? You know what? I'm going to tell the truth. I don't give a damn what y'all doing over there. I'm going to tell the truth, though. And now he's getting 18,000 people watching at once. TYT could never and would never. So let's ignore the people that got here from the bottom, from doing the work, being honest, and being objective the whole way. I was an organizer in the AOC, or in New York, when AOC claimed to have worked for Bernie Sanders in Queens and the Bronx. And what nobody would talk about, because they were literally scared, because AOC loves to use her brand to crush anyone who will call her out for her past. Nobody knew who the fuck AOC was when she got elected. Nobody. Because she wasn't with us. Because everybody had, the activist community was really tight knit there. Right? A lot of us met at for those of you who remember, I was at the New York Board of Elections meeting where I literally cussed out the Board of Elections. That, by the way, the video went viral. And oh, by the way, the chairwoman of that Board of Elections was fired. And then she subsequently lost her law firm because everybody found out all the corrupt dealings she was in. And they found out that, in fact, those voters were illegally removed from the registration, and she knew about it. Largely due to my viral video holding them accountable, in case you were curious. And I was in New York, specifically in Queens. I lived in Brooklyn first, then Queens. And all of us activists knew each other. We knew each other more than we knew, because we'll go, hold up, you know so-and-so? Yeah, I know so-and-so too. Nobody knew AOC. That's why you don't ever see any pictures of her at no Bernie rally. You don't see any pictures of her. You know, everybody in 2016 had a picture with Bernie or Nina or Jane or Cornel West. And that's kind of like how you knew, like, okay, so you were a real one. You was one of the ones that were here from the beginning. Because people were just popping up out of nowhere in 2017 to 2018. And you start going through them pictures, and like, hold up, where your Bernie picture at? How you gonna be a Bernie supporter, but you ain't got no Bernie pictures? You ain't got no pictures of no rallies or nothing. Wow. And so when people, and we tried to give her the benefit of the doubt, of course, at the time. Like, well, maybe she was doing some different organizing. Maybe she meant, like, I don't know, West Side Queens, or I don't know. But she wasn't with us. And I dare you to find a picture where she was somewhere organizing for Bernie, like she claimed she was. Stop believing these posers. Stop believing these fake ass corporate cronies. We've been telling y'all, bro. We've been telling y'all. And we got attacked for it. We didn't get attacked because we were being dishonest. We didn't get attacked because we were being disingenuous. We were getting attacked just like we're getting attacked now because we're right. And we've been right. Because our experiences, I went homeless to pursue the DNC fraud lawsuit. Fiorella gave up acting and modeling. Pasta gave up running one of the best restaurants in LA. Johnny gave up engineering. Like being a literal engineer to do what we do. I've had my team in tears trying to figure out, they knew they were gonna do the next video, had no idea where the next meal was gonna come from to do this shit. Spend their own money to travel this country to cover, wherever we could. Because we don't have unlimited funding and corporate funding like TYT does. So we cover wherever we could. So you think we're gonna give that up by lying? We're gonna give that up by throwing the movement under the bus, the same movement that kept us afloat? The same movement that gave us an opportunity to pursue doing what we love, not because we went to J school or journalism school or work for MSNBC like Cenk, work for ABC or NBC like Anna did, work for Fox News like Jordan Sheridan did, makes frequent appearances on MSNBC like Ben Dixon did and does. No, we do this because who the fuck else is gonna do it? Who else is gonna do it? Who's gonna be honest and do this shit? Like really do this? Not sit from behind a computer, but like the Action for Assange crew going to DC. Y'all don't even know all the shit that they've been through over the last couple of weeks. They've been targeted beyond belief because of Assange's, the reading for his extradition hearing is coming up. And most people don't know about it because, well, God forbid, once again, TYT or anybody cover Assange, Glory had to pay Anna just to say Assange's name with the super chat. And no, I'm not talking about Jordan's position on force to vote, people. That's not what I'm referring to. I know he's good on force to vote. That's fine. But that's not what we're talking about. Jordan has smeared my team. He even tried to recruit Fiorella. He thought Fiorella was as disloyal as he is. And when she wouldn't go, that's when he started smearing her. Jordan loves having women on his team that work harder than he does. That's neither here nor there, though. Bramble Bush, do you know how far along the People's Party is running candidates? Is Nina Turner running as a Democrat? Yeah, Nina Turner has to run as a Democrat because Ohio basically blocked all third parties. It's almost impossible at this moment with their limited funding for People's Party to not only register in Ohio, but also then have to do the legal battles also to make sure that they're allowed to in Ohio. The Democrats and Republicans work together to keep third parties off ballots in Ohio. I don't know if y'all knew that. They think they're registered in Maine and I think maybe one other state, and they're working to do so. But Nina's best bet is to run Democrat because of her district and because of just the nature of Ohio. I don't really care what party she runs in. I just care that in Washington she remembers where she came from. I don't know what else people need to see. I really don't. I do not know what else people need to see anymore. The entire squad, except for Rashida Tlaib. Every progressive in Congress, except for Tulsi Gabbard and Rashida Tlaib. Do y'all know? AOC. Remember, I was just showing y'all how AOC was like, "Oh my God, we get this bill. We didn't get a chance to read it. Oh God, I can't believe it. This is so wrong." Yeah, what she keeps leaving out of those tweets is the fact that, and of course, Thomas Massie was the one to bring this up. He was like, "Yo, we get 72 hours to vote or to read legislation, at least bare minimum, unless you, of course, suspend the rules." Every Democrat, except for Tulsi, probably Rashida too, but except for Tulsi, every Democrat voted to suspend the rules mandating that Congress have 72 hours to read legislation. Every Democrat except for Tulsi voted to suspend the 72-hour rule to speed up the vote. The same person who was just complaining on Twitter about how she didn't get enough time to read the vote. You know who realized that they didn't get enough time to read legislation? Justin Amash, the day before, who rang the alarm so everyone would know what was actually happening, which was a theft. It was a burglary right in front of our eyes. Justin Amash rang the alarm about that the day before because he's probably getting headlines like, we agreed on this. Who agreed on this? I didn't agree on this. I didn't read shit yet. AOC then the next day, of course, usually, as usual, when it was too late. That's when she had something to say. And then and Thomas Massie called him out. One Democrat voted against suspending the 72-hour rule. So the bill got expedited and they had no time to read a 5,000-page bill, and yet every Democrat except for two voted for it. I couldn't believe how many Republicans voted against this. Because the neocons are the ones that's supposed to love the conservatives are the ones supposed to love the military-industrial complex. But almost everybody who opposed this was Republican. And AOC spent the last goddamn 2 months convincing everybody it's actually the Republicans who overwhelmingly support this. And it's actually the Democrats who are altruistically voting. They don't support this. It's actually the Republicans. So why did more Republicans vote against this than the Democrats? Then I'm confused. I'm confused. And then once again, like I just said, why? Or how, rather, could you have possibly known it was the Republicans are doing this part of legislation. The Republicans are doing this part of legislation. The Republicans and Mitch McConnell. You didn't even read the bill. You have not had access to the bill until late yesterday afternoon. You did not have access to anything. You did not know what was happening. In other words, you were lying. AOC was lying to you. She said it herself. She hadn't read the bill. She didn't read the text. They put out a notice also saying that it had not been uploaded to the website. Motions hadn't been uploaded to the website. No one had access to anything happening on the website because the website was down. So she didn't have the website. She didn't have this text. And yet the last 2 months she had spent convincing y'all that it was all Republicans' fault. But it was Nancy Pelosi who said $600 is actually great. It was mostly Republicans who voted against it. Mostly Republicans who voted against it. And also, of course, AOC never misses an opportunity to slam Tulsi to boost her own brand and star. And yet Tulsi got this right again and AOC got it wrong again. Now, of course, Mitch McConnell was absolutely involved in this, but we all know Mitch McConnell's a piece of shit. And also, Mitch McConnell was the one saying we don't deserve nothing. He wasn't going to give us a damn thing. It was the Democrats pretending like they were going to give us $1,200 or wanted to give us $2,000, whatever. Pretending. And Joe Manchin was in the Senate, a Democrat, leading the charge. She never mentioned Joe Manchin's name. Coincidences, I'm sure. Bethlehem, thank you very much for the super chat. Much love to you. Hope you're having a great holiday. Reeve Barker, sorry if we already covered it, but thoughts on Padilla replacing Kamala? Look, I haven't covered it. I think Paz and Fiola covered it because LA and California is their thing. But they're never going to have a. Hold up, you mean replacing her as senator? Is it he already won, or is he running in a runoff? But it was to be expected, I should say that. That's my thought on it. Padilla's trash. He's the reason that California elections were so rigged. He literally changed the entire election system within like 3 or 4 months, and we were ringing the alarm. Pasta and Fiola and Johnny, once again, were ringing the alarm. They were at these meetings calling out Alex Padilla, calling him out about all the different ways he was trying to rig the election by creating creating all these abstract concepts that it was different from different cities to different states and to different counties, and did you vote one way here, you kind of vote some way here, you might get taken off but it's cool. Just provisional ballots. Just give out provisional ballots. No, this is open source software. And Imposter was like, hold up, this isn't open source. This says proprietary right here. What we mean was it's a non-traditional open source software, which means it's proprietary, which means it's private. You don't have access to anything. You can't audit it as a citizen. Alex Padilla is one of the most corrupt people in this country. He was one of the ones who helped to basically steal California from Bernie. And Bernie won, but like everybody knows, Bernie actually crushed Biden. Biden didn't even have a campaign office in California. We had not seen a single Biden sign. Not saying that nothing existed, but the fact that we're all over California, we hadn't seen one, was a little bit confusing for us. ML, thank you very much for the super chat. Do you think the anger that people are feeling on the left is setting us up for a new con man on the right? The anger is justified, but I feel like it's a setup. No, it's not a setup. I mean, yeah, it's I do believe it's somewhat of a setup because AOC keeps falling into traps. And it's not to set up a new comment on the right. It's so that people like AOC, Ilhan Omar, who think that their ambitions will be fulfilled, never get to achieve those goals. Like, cause they think, you know what I'm saying? Like, they think that they're establishment. They're like you ever seen Blade? They're like the familiars. They're not actually vampires, but they want to be vampires so bad. They want to be vampires so bad. And it's wild to me because AOC has no leadership position. At least Ilhan Omar is the whip for the Progressive Caucus. At least she sold out for something. AOC didn't even get the committee seat she wanted. And yet she is treated and uplifted as if she is some firebrand. Like, oh man, AOC says things that everybody's been saying for 3 years. Oh, I don't think they're setting up for it. Like, no. But what it's going to lead to is somebody who could be potentially worse than Trump. That's what it could lead to. So once again, this is why it's so important for us to start doing our work ahead of time, holding people accountable years in advance, fighting for election integrity years in advance. So that when we have a situation where it's Biden versus Trump or whatever, that we're not gaslit when we're like, hold up. I mean, I don't know if Trump won or Biden won, but I know we're not about to pretend like this election is legitimate. That's the first problem right there. Damn, who won? Have we even solved the problems that caused Bernie to get cheated? Okay, then what are we talking about? No, we got to move on. Nope, it's Trump. Nope, it's Bush. Nope, it's Bush. Nope, it's Reagan. Nope, it's Nixon. Like, what? How many times are we going to fall for that, bro? Dap the Vegan, thank you very much. I'm still deciding on whether to cut Jordan off or not. I'm so tired of these full leftists. He's on my list though. Better be on his best behavior. Look, I'm not one for cancel culture, but I would say you get it from the real information, not opinion, but real information wherever you can get it. You listen to varying opinions. You get your opinions preferably from objective sources. You get your facts where you can find them, and then you marry the opinions with those facts and hopefully formulate your own informed opinion. But just understand that you do got to go to multiple sources because people will straight up lie to you. They'll present one side of information. We've seen it over and over again, right? They'll present one-sided information, and then we'll give you a BS opinion based off of one-sided information to purposely mislead you. Now that don't mean you go and share everybody's information. You find the people that you support and you support them while being open-minded. But we need actual independent journalism. True, objective, independent journalism. I just wouldn't put Jordan in that category. Jordan came from Fox News. He went to TYT. While at TYT, he met Jimmy. Jimmy's the only reason that people know who he is again. Because he faded into obscurity for a long time. And Jimmy brought him onto the show twice. And that's how Jordan blew up again. Oh, that and kissing Bernie's ass, but that's a different conversation. Kirk, I see violence growing with growth of hopelessness for many. It's happening in Miami. It's happening in Miami. The violence, the break-ins. And it seems this is what they want. So people will be willing to give in to any type of power or control without question. And Jordan did attack Jimmy, just saying. He attacked Jimmy before and then, of course, jumped on this forced to vote train because he would be stupid not to. He knows better. Glory Jones, thank you very much for the super chat. When asked about Julian Assange, whether or not, Julian Assange should be pardoned, AOC gave an answer so Weasley, I saw shades of Pete Guaido. Screw her. Yeah, I believe that. Oh, she's horrible on Julian Assange. Horrible. Horrible on freedom of anything. She's horrible on surveillance, horrible on tech. It's weird because she's also super weird. Tulsi was good on Julian. Great. The best on Julian Assange. Best Democrat, I mean. Obviously, Massey, Justin Amash, the other two. Best in the House, in the Senate. AOC's trash on it. Why are we pretend like AOC is this champion of free speech and leftism? Leftism is free speech. Leftism is anti-surveillance. Leftism is the First Amendment. Leftism is anti-big government. That is leftism. It's supposed to be. It used to be anyway. Leftism is anti-CIA talking points. Not, I'm going to defer to the caucus. Do y'all know there was like a $33 million provision in that bill to overthrow Venezuela, basically? It's a $33 million provision to try and overthrow Venezuela right after the president of Colombia got caught trying to assassinate Maduro like 2 weeks ago. They're setting... Young Zolo, I didn't see your super chat. Go ahead and comment and I'll respond to you. Sorry about that. But they're setting up the show for Joe Biden to get everything done that they wanted Trump to achieve. I've told people over and over and over again, the difference between the two is one is an incompetent imperialist who gets not a lot of things. He gets some things right, but a lot of things horribly wrong. But the things that he gets wrong were created by people like Joe Biden, and a lot of times specifically by Joe Biden. Patriot Act, Iraq war vote, Syria, the kids in cages, 1996 Telecommunications Act, 94 crime bill, so the private prison industry. That was all either, it was literally while Biden was vice president, or he drafted the legislation. Are you kidding me? They're like, yeah, but we gotta go back to Biden. Why? Because he's been really good at pretending not to be racist over the last 6 months, even though he's even been bad at that. And Biden is the competent imperialist. And y'all gave him a mandate and then challenged anyone and smeared anyone who was like, oh, maybe we shouldn't be so quick to go to the type of politician that literally gave us Trump. Because we might not get someone that nice next time, if you catch my drift. Yeah, Trump is a bully. Trump is a megalomaniac. But trust me, it can get way worse. It can absolutely be worse than Trump. Maybe someone who literally yelled at his base when they said, hey, can you do like some basic activism stuff for black people since we did kind of like sell our vote out to you? Nah. And the fact that you asked me about that, ridiculous. You're crazy. You're insane, and let me go ahead and yell at you for even suggesting that. Like, you don't ever hear Trump yell at his base like that. Y'all got somebody who is yelling at the people who got the vote out for him. Like, if he would treat activists who are on his side like that, oh God. Imagine how he's going to treat the people who stand up to him and challenge him in that administration. They're not going to bring anybody who stands up to him and challenges him in that administration. That's why he is flexing like that, to show what he is and is not going to put up with. Kamala Harris versus Nikki Haley in 2024. It's like a bad movie. It's like a bad Bollywood movie. Mitch Osborne, thank you very much for the super chat. The Squat endorsed Nina yet? If not, that's quite telling here. We actually talked about that earlier, Mitch. They have not. Ilhan Omar mentioned Nita, did not endorse her. Did not endorse her. And because of that, like Ilhan Omar didn't feel the need to do it. AOC didn't feel the need to do it. And of course, Anna Presley probably didn't feel the need to do it. So Rashida Tlaib didn't feel the need to do it. So none of the squad has done it. And young Zolo, I'm looking out for your question. Let me know when you put it in here. ML, thank you very much for the super chat. People on the left angry about Trump voted in nice Trump. Biden, yes. Neo-fascism versus civility fascism. You don't think that it's easier to manipulate people when they're mad? People protested for Floyd, but thousands die a day now. Well, I do believe it's easier to manipulate people when they're mad. I do. It's very difficult to manipulate people when they're mad and actually organized. And we have history and honest journalism on our side. That's the main difference. Is you saw TYT put forth, and not just TYT, but all their ilk put forth dishonest journalism, and they didn't allow people to challenge their anger and their frustration in the correct way. So this is what we ended up with. You ended up with a candidate, Joe Biden, who was credibly accused of rape. And then TYT was literally using their fundraising lists or their email list to fundraise, sent out emails fundraising for Joe Biden. Meanwhile, as we were ringing the alarm, we were smeared and attacked. Why? Because they didn't want anybody encouraging activists, leftists, populists of all sides of the spectrum to channel their energy in a productive way. That's why they're so mad at Jimmy. Red and black, I will feel less apathetic if Nina gets in Congress since Tulsi is leaving. Oh yeah, we need Nina in there. Because if you've been looking at Nina's tweets, I think it's become perfectly clear which way she was going to vote if she would have been there. I like Kim's logic. We're about to get up out of here anyway. So should Tulsi endorse Nina? Tulsi already endorsed Nina. She already endorsed him. All right. So we're gonna get up out of here. Got a long day. You know, it's basketball season just started too. So we gotta have our basketball show later. If you're into the sports channels, you can go to my show Double Tech. We have a YouTube channel. Our Rockfin page will be live today as well. We're actually gonna be live streaming. We're gonna be giving pre-game analysis. We're gonna be playing 2K21 actually, and exposing the strengths and the weaknesses of both teams playing today, Lakers and the Clippers, and then Brooklyn and the Celtics are both playing today. So we're going to be covering that, and we're going to do a post-game analysis, and then we're going to cover some other stuff in the game tomorrow on that channel. Of course, we'll still be following this ridiculous bill, breaking down some of the worst parts of it, and holding people accountable. This is unacceptable. R. Smith, yeah. I'm glad you caught that. I don't know how many people caught that. But this is unacceptable, y'all. I don't know what else it's going to take. I don't know what else it's going to take for people to stop focusing on Jimmy, focusing on us, focusing on Tulsi, and challenging the system and the people who prop it up. So y'all go find my channel, Double Tech. It's in the community tab too. So if you want to go check that, it's in one of like the recent posts in the community tab. So go check that out if you're into sports and basketball content specifically. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, always remember, more than anything else, find your balance. And don't forget to subscribe. Peace. If you like